What's up, world? Welcome back to another episode of Just Grow It, the podcast. I'm your host, Big City Gardener, and today we are talking about native plants. What are they and why you should have them in your garden? Native plants are extremely unique. They're plants that are built to succeed within certain regions and certain climates. What's dope about native plants is that they are plants that have basically naturalized over time. They've been exposed to the extreme conditions, whether it's the drought, the heat, or the cold, and they've adapted within their own genetic makeup. They've adapted how they grow and how they survive. So some adaptations are oftentimes maybe they develop a deeper, more robust root system, which allows them to search for water during times of drought. Other adaptations that certain native plants have is they're able to absorb more moisture through their leaves than other varieties. So if you could imagine being in a desert setting or somewhere that does not get a lot of water and has extremely dry air, the ability to store water and to also just absorb any water in the atmosphere is beneficial for a plant's success. Even within specific regions, you will come across certain plants that have adapted a little bit more than their counterparts. So even within Texas, even within Houston, you'll find different sort of subspecies of plants in different areas. Now, this adaptation is called an ecotype or an ecotype. An ecotype is a subspecies of a plant that allows it to grow within specific conditions. So these adaptations, they vary from things like adaptations in color, size, and shape. And one thing that blows my mind is that when we go to these big box nurseries or even most of our local nurseries, they tend to stock a lot of these non-native plants. While these foreign plants have the ability to grow in our soil, in our region, these foreign plants have foreign pests. And when these foreign pests come to attack these foreign plants, they could potentially outcompete our local native plants and our local native pest, and then it could just turn into chaos, right? Because now we're bringing in foreign pests that are able to survive in our region, and maybe they do not have any known predators. Boom, they're able to multiply and take over. And it's not just the pests that we can visibly see. If we think about the potential effect that foreign plants could have on our native soil food web and all of the members, it should make you pause and think twice. So while there are some foreign plants that produce beautiful flowers and look great in our gardens, I guarantee you if we take the time, we can find native plants to replace those that will be better suited to grow in our region. All right, so now let's talk about some reasons why we should be including native plants into our gardens. So the first reason why we should be planting natives in our garden is simply biodiversity. So biodiversity is simply varying the types of plants, crops, trees, shrubs, everything like that we have in our garden. So if you've ever heard me speak about something I don't like about a lot of large-scale farms is that they do something known as monocropping, where they just plant rows and rows of one specific vegetable or one specific plant. Now, that is not biodiversity. So by planting a diverse amount of trees, crops, shrubs, flowers, what we're able to do is to help feed many different wildlife populations. The second reason why we should be planting natives in our garden is that native plants love pollinators and pollinators love native plants. If we have a bunch of different native plants, it looks like a buffet to pollinators. So they're more likely to come, show up, and do their beneficial things in our garden while being nourished by the pollen from these native plants. Native plants attract things like birds, bees, native bees, not just the honeybees, butterflies, and other beneficial insects. If we can increase the amount of beneficial insects and the population of the pollinators in our garden, then we end up having less pest problems. So we'll spend less time dealing with the bad bugs, and we can spend more time building our soil food web. The third reason why we should be planting natives in our garden is because natives require less water. So the more plants we can have that use less water, the better off we'll be. Because we have been told that water is a scarce resource. Therefore, why are we trying to grow foreign plants, or why are we even trying to grow plants that do not benefit our ecosystem and do not benefit the pollinators around us? Number 4. We just said how native plants require less water. Native plants require less maintenance. Native plants also require less fertilizer. And that's because they have developed over time and naturalized in our area, so they're able to extract minerals, to extract all the nutrients they need from the ground below. If you've ever grown native plants, then you'll see, 1, how strong and resilient they are, but 2, how you can basically just plant them and just forget about them. As long as you add mulch to your garden once, maybe twice a year, your native plants, your perennials, they will thrive. And since our native plants will use less fertilizer, not only will using less fertilizer help your pocketbook, right? You won't have to spend as much on fertilizer. Using less fertilizer can also help the environment. Every time we apply fertilizer to our garden or to our yard, anytime it rains, some of that excess fertilizer, it works its way into our waterways. Now, these waterways could end up flowing into a stream, a lake, a bayou, a river, or they go back to a water treatment facility where they get treated, and sometimes there's traces of these chemicals in our water. So by using less fertilizer, we can also pollute the waterways less and pollute our drinking water less. So how can we use these natives in our landscaping? 1, we could use them like ground covers. 2, we could probably make a large planting, a mass planting of these native plants that could eventually and would eventually turn into something like a pollinator patch. We could get rid of that useless lawn that a lot of us have, and we could throw in some native plants that help benefit the ecosystem, as opposed to the grass, the turf grass that we have that does nothing for us. The choice is really up to you. Now, where can we buy native plants? If you go to any big box store, you'll find a small selection of native plants, a very small selection. But for a wide selection of native plants, you're gonna have to head to one of your local nurseries. One thing that's dope about local nurseries is that you'll usually end up getting a lot better information than you would get from these big box stores. So you can go into a local nursery knowing nothing about native plants, walk up to somebody who works there and say, hey, can you show me where the natives are and then tell me what I should plant? And they will give you a 10 to 30 minute speech on what the best natives are for your area, which colors you like. I mean, they can help you choose everything. Head out to your local nursery, do a little bit of research on native plants before you show up, and then go grab a few. Start off by replacing one of these boxwoods or something with a native plant, and then after you see the benefit it has on your garden, maybe you add some more. I don't know, the choice is up to you. All right, man, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Just Grow It, the podcast. Go ahead, man, you know what I want you to do. I want you to share this with somebody, like it, do all those good things, leave a comment. Same things I ask you to do after every episode. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, don't forget to put this in your headphones while you're outside with your hands in the dirt and just grow it. Before I let you go, I need you to do more than one thing. First, I need you to like, comment, subscribe to the podcast. Second, I need you to tell a friend or two about the show if you enjoyed it. And if you have anybody you think I need to talk to, I should interview, send the name over, put it in the comments, or send me an email, igrow@BigCityGardener. And check me out, man, on Instagram and on all social media platforms, Big City Gardener. We out. Oh, almost forgot. Just grow it.